Folks, did you hear? One of our banks closed down. Let me talk about that and then get into the latest home prices for York Region for week ending November the 1st, 2023. I'm sure you've heard one of our banks, the Bank of Mom and Dad, has closed down. Did you think I was talking about another bank? No, they're making tons of money. The Bank of Mom and Dad, however, not doing so well. They've closed their doors. Not too long ago, I'd be helping first-time home buyers, and a big part of their down payment, sometimes all of their down payment, came from the Bank of Mom and Dad. No longer the case today. Parents are just not, with these high interest rates, they're just not doing that. If they've got cash to give, they'll give cash. But to take out money against the equity in their home, not happening so much these days. That has closed down. And you know, I even had a call not too long ago, a parent who I've helped with two of their kids over the last couple of years. The parents are saying they're having a tough time now maintaining their mortgage payments because they've lent out all this money to help the kids buy. So, you know, decisions were made, all for good reasons. Now some people are struggling because of those decisions that were made. Some people are choosing not to buy because of these high interest rates and are thinking, no problem, we'll do some rentals, we'll stay here longer. If the rentals are going to be paid for with a loan against the property, a HELOC, for example, they're considering that also. Is that a good option? Labor rates, construction rates, renovation rates, that's all gone up. Added with the fact that interest rates and loans now are so much more expensive, people are even contemplating, does it even make sense to renovate these days? So all sorts of things happening out there, lots of choices for people to make. The Bank of Mom and Dad, though, doesn't seem like a viable choice these days. If you feel this video can help somebody you know, please pass it along. If you get value from what we're talking about, subscribe. If you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, it's really simple. Below this video in the description, there's a link to my calendar. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you, and we'll talk about whatever's on your mind. Now, let's get into the numbers. Folks, before I get into the numbers for York Region, for Vaughan, Richmond Hill, and Markham, let me talk a little bit about power of sales. So I've charted the amount of properties in power of sale that have been listed under power of sale. This is for a whole year, January to December. The blue, those are last year's numbers. The orange, that's this year's numbers. Now, you should know this is for all home types. So freehold, semis, towns, detached, condos, all home types. And it's for all GTA, Durham, Halton, Peel, Toronto, and York Region. So it covers a vast area, the all GTA, all home types. And you could see from the beginning of the year, going towards the end of the year, power of sales have been increasing. And when we compare this year to last year, we've more than doubled. We're up 118%. We have 118% more power of sale properties this year, year to date versus last year. Year to date ends October. So January to October, the 2 years, we've more than doubled when it comes to power of sales. Well, what does that mean, say, for Vaughan, Richmond Hill, and Markham, for York Region? Well, there's 69 total power of sales, all home types, all GTA. It's not enough really to move the needle yet. It is concerning that they've doubled, for sure. That's an issue. And there's many, many people on the border. Some are about to be on power of sale and they don't even know that they've got a financial problem yet. However, 69 is not yet enough to move the average price needle. That's just my take on power of sales. It's gone way up, but not enough yet to make a difference. Let's start off with a quick summary. Vaughan, Richmond Hill, and Markham. This is for detached properties, average sold price for week ending November the 1st. Average prices are kind of packed together this week. And we see that every now and then. We saw it a few weeks back again. We saw it here right out of Labor Day. Average prices were pretty similar between Vaughan, Richmond Hill, and Markham. We're going to start off with Vaughan. Detached properties for week ending November 1st. I have here a whole year broken down by week. 31 detached properties were sold. Not sure what happened for week ending November 1st, but sales jumped way up, higher than what it's been since the beginning of August. Actually, we can go all the way back to the beginning of July. 31 in 1 week. It's the best week we've had in a while. Should I venture to say buyers are back? It's not at all what I'm saying, but sales did pick up this 1 week quite a bit. The amount of properties selling at $2 million or more jumped up to 8. We haven't seen that many. There was 1 week here, the ending July 26th, but before that it was June and more towards May, the beginning of the year. 8 sold at $2 million or more. Now, lots of those for sure. We've seen where these were, for example, maybe at 2.5 and they ended up selling for 2.1, 2.2 or 2. So there's been a big price reduction in those properties in the upper price point. But still, 8 sold at $2 million or more. Goes to show you, right price, right home, even if it's in the luxury market or very expensive. Buyers, there's some buyers with money out there ready to buy. Average sold price jumped up to $1,722,000. And for sure, the 8 has a lot to do with the overall average sold price going up. Compared to last year, however, still lower. We're 3% lower than last year's average sold price. The median price is 14% lower. If we look at the dotted line over the last 4, 5, 6 weeks, prices have been trending down. Compared to last year, year to date, we have 8% fewer sales this year versus last year. This is just for Vaughan, for detached properties. So 8% fewer sales. I know there's a lot of noise out there talking about all sorts of different things. It's only 8% fewer sales. I don't see that as a big, a big problem, but 8% fewer sales. The amount of properties selling at list price or more, only 19%. That's way down. Listings, we have 13% fewer listings year to date, January 1st to November 1st, and months of inventory sitting at 3.1. And it's come way down. Well, basically, we look at the huge increase, we went to 31 sales in 1 week. That's a big difference from the previous week. And so now the formula looks at if we're actually selling 31 every single week from now on moving forward, and we see that active listings really hasn't changed much, well, we're going to go through the inventory a little bit quicker. In this case, we went from 5 months of inventory to 3.1 months of inventory. And that's basically what it's saying. If we're buying 31 properties every single week, nothing, excuse me, nothing else changes, it'll take us 3.1 months to sell out of all the properties currently for sale. We're in a balanced market when it comes to Vaughan detached properties. Richmond Hill, for week ending November 1st, 15 detached properties were sold, similar to the previous week, or the same as the previous week. 4 of those were at $2 million or more. Average sold price came down to $1,834,000. 1,834 is 2% higher than where we were a year ago. The median price is 2% lower than where we were a year ago. And you can see average prices trending down. Sales, year-to-date sales, we have 10% fewer sales this year than we had last year. Listings, we have 7% fewer listings. Listings have been trending down. This is only for detached properties, folks, in Richmond Hill. Months of inventory sitting at 4.8 months of inventory, pretty much at the top end of the balanced market. Kind of, in a lot of neighborhoods, it's going to be a buyer's market when you're looking at Richmond Hill. Markham, 25 detached properties were sold for week ending November 1st. 6 of those were at $2 million or more. Now that's, if we kind of go back to the beginning of August, that's a pretty good week. 25, I mean, 25 overall is not a lot. However, in an individual week, 25 is pretty good when you go back and you look at since the beginning of August. Average sold price sitting at 1,689,000. 1,689 is 2% lower than where the average sold price was a year ago. The median price is 1% lower than where we were a year ago. And if you kind of go back about 2.5, 3 months, you look at the dotted line, that's the 4-week moving average. It does slope up and down. I would say slightly trending down, but it's not a drastic movement in overall average prices for Markham over the last 2.5 months. Sales, I normally round these numbers and I could have just put sales are the same, actually up 0.4%, less than 1%, higher sales. There's not many areas that are seeing an increase in sales this year versus last year. Markham so far we're up 0.4% in sales year to date this year versus last year. Listings are down 6%. Listings on a weekly basis are trending down. Months of inventory sitting at 2.7 months of inventory. Now, sellers. Some of this might sound like, oh, it's not doing so bad, relatively speaking to what we've been doing over the last 2, 3, 4 months. But there's a ton of inventory out there. Sellers have a ton of competition. Prices are sitting. Sellers are struggling. And buyers are not really jumping on board and saying, yeah, it's time to buy. They're kind of sitting back, having a look, and contemplating their next move. Buyers are in no particular rush to really jump in and buy up all the inventory. This is the struggle sellers are having right now. Here's condos. This is for all of York region. 35 condos were sold. One of those was at $1 million or more. Average sold price overall trending down quite a bit, is now sitting at $655,000. $655,000 is 3% lower than where we were this time last year. The median price of $626,000 is 5% lower year over year. Average prices, median prices trending down. 2% fewer condo sales year to date. 1% fewer listings, condo listings. So not a big change as far as sales and listings go, condos year over year. And months of inventory pretty much sitting steady now in the mid fours, sitting at 4.5. It's been in the mid fours for the last 3 weeks. Condos, especially when you're in one building and there's so many listings, really feels like a buyer's market when it comes to condos. Here's a quick summary. Although markets got a little bit tighter, months of inventory did come down in all these sections I'm looking at here. Still pretty high. What we're looking at here is when we look at Vaughan, at the current sales rate in Vaughan, based on the amount of properties for sale, it'll take us more than 3 months to sell everything out. 3 months. Richmond Hill, it'll take, it's 4.8 months, but it'll take almost 5 months at the current rate that we're buying in Richmond Hill to buy everything that's currently for sale in Richmond Hill. That's a lot, 5 months. York Region condos. Also, 4.5 months to buy all the condos at the current rate that we're selling condos at. That's the way months of inventory, you should be looking at it. So if you're going on the market or you're looking to buy, hey, different strategies. You got to really understand what's happening. As always, who you hire matters, but you're sitting pretty much in a buyer's market, especially for Richmond Hill and condos, and pretty much a balanced market for Markham and Vaughan areas. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome day.